will first ask you to please stand for a moment of silence, followed by the pledge. Mr. Iverson, would you please?
Attention, salute, pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First order of business tonight is to approve the agenda, but we want to also, before we do that, we want to vote to amend the agenda and add line 7E to new business and authorize the executive committee to execute 5 contracts for electrical services at the middle school.
You make that as a motion?
I'm making that as a motion.
I'll second it.
We have a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
First order of business is to approve the agenda. When we approve the agenda, we also approve the consent agenda and all the items in it, including any special meetings or any call meetings that's happened within the month. All those, do I hear a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
We have Pat, I think, wants to say something.
I think we ought to do roll call votes,
Okay. We'll go back.
don't we?
Okay.
On both issues?
All right. On the motion that we made to amend the agenda, we'll now have the roll call vote. Kristen, when you're ready.
Mr. Gilmore?
Yes.
Mr. Hughes?
Yes.
Mr. Iverson?
Yes.
Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Robinson?
Yes.
Mr. Spivey?
Yes.
Ms. Thomas?
Yes.
Okay. You also think we need a roll call for the agenda itself, no, Mr.
I think that would be best.
You got it. Okay. Now we're looking for a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
Got a motion by Mr. Jones, second.
Second.
Second by Mr. Gilmore. Discussion. Hearing none.
Mr. Hughes?
Yes.
Mr. Iverson?
Yes.
Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Robinson?
Yes.
Mr. Spivey?
Yes.
Ms. Thomas?
Yes.
Mr. Gilmore?
Yes.
Before we go any further, we have 2 sections for public comment. The first section is for agenda items. At the end of the meeting, we have public comment for non-agenda items. I see no requests for agenda-related items, so I'll turn the meeting over to the director at this time. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Hughes. Under communication to the board, under director's comments, this evening we celebrate the many successes of our students, and so happy to have our students and with their families and school folks with them tonight. Actually, we had so many that we had to break it into 2 meetings, so we'll have version 2 of this next month in December as we continue our celebration for our student accomplishments for this fall semester. So we're going to move right into it, and I'm going to ask Dr. Palmer and Dr. Davis to join me as we recognize the North High School Band.
So this is a very special group of young people that we have with us today. Mr. Root, the band director, if you'll come up and join us as well. I'll ask you a question while you're on the way up here. Would you call this a perfect season, Mr. Root? Oh, yeah. It's a perfect season. I don't say that sparingly, but in all honesty, you won every competition that you went to this year, didn't you? Basically. And not just won it with the band of the division, they won grand championship at 4 different locations. And we're going to show that off for you. And I'm going to ask all the students to come up here. And matter of fact, why don't you go ahead and start making your way up to your students and line up. We have all these cameras. So I really want you to, smile real big for them and come on up.
And bling.
And yes, with all the hardware. Come on up. So this is the Sullivan North Band of Gold. We're very proud of what they've done this year. This is a special time for them, and I want you to have every opportunity to get a good picture of them. I'm going to scroll through this, and I'm going to get out of the way and let you take a picture. So here are some of their achievements this year. They marched at the Magic Kingdom Park at Disney World. They performed for thousands of people from around the world. Music in the Castle competition, the grand champions for Class 1A and 2A. And you can see first place percussion, visual, second place color guard, first place drum major and effects. They went on to compete at the John Battle Marching Invitational, grand champion there as well, won through AAA band. Mr. Ruth, I have to ask, did you have to personally audition for the Big Mouth Band Director Award?
Well, what happened, they had, it was pretty much a money thing, so it was like for the public to vote.
You all voted for was what happened. Okay, I got it. All right, good. So you see all the first place in every category for that competition. That's very special. And then they went on to compete at the Appalachian Classic, grand champion there as well. And you see first place in every category in that competition as well. And so that's truly unheard of in the band world. And so it's extremely impressive. I've always been very proud of our bands in Sullivan County and the job they've done. And when a band does something like this, of course, and I said that for our other organizations that would be represented here today, it signifies a great cooperation, great marriage between the band director, the administration, the parents. God bless you, parents. All of you. Thank you for all the time you spend with your kids and practicing. And then this is the results. What it's about, isn't it? And so, I'm going to step aside and let you get lots of pictures.
So now if I can have the band director and the principal come, I'd like to present you with this certificate of your recognition of your achievements. It says this certificate is proudly presented to Sullivan North High School as a band of gold, and it's signed by myself, David Cox, Director of Schools, and Mr. Michael Hughes, Chairman of the Board.
Very cool. Thank you so much.
Congratulations.
Thank you all very much. Have a seat. Take it on the way back and shake my hand too. Congratulations. Congratulations. I'm proud of you all. Wonderful job. Great job. Proud of you all. Congratulations. You don't have a hand to spare. You all hard done. We have another great group we're going to recognize this evening. This is so fun. I'm honored to get the opportunity to do this. Thank you for asking me to do this, Dr. Cox. The Mary Hughes volleyball team. If you will begin to make your way up, Mary Hughes. This is a very, very special group of young people as well. And here is what they've done this year. This is an outstanding season. Big Three season conference runner-ups, 12-2. Three-time Big Three tournament conference champions, 4-0. Area 1 district tournament runner-up, 2-1. Patriot Palooza tournament silver division champions, 3-2. Small school TMSAA state sectional championships earned the title for the 4th consecutive year. Yeah, a bunch of overachievers. That's awesome. Great job. And then overall season record, 26 wins and 5 losses. 3rd best record of a single season. So congratulations.
So we have a certificate for you as well. Again, recognition of your achievements. This certificate is proudly presented to Mary Hughes 2019 volleyball team, and it's signed by myself and Mr. Hughes. Thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Well, sir.
Would you mind, Mr. Smith, just to keep these kids in line like this for a little bit longer because this is the coolest stuff in the world. Would you mind announcing each of those players' names so they can give their mamas and daddies a little more video time?
Yes. Number 3, Leah Hare, 6th grader, first year playing for us. Raise your hand. Number 2, Sophie Johnson, also a 6th grader. Number 11, Willow McClellan, 7th grader, 2nd year for us. Number 7, Caitlin Gregg, also a 7th grader, 2nd year on the team. Number 1, Kendall Hodge, a 7th grader also, second year on the team. And the last 3 have been with me for 3 years. And these young ladies have an accomplishment of 100 wins, and I believe it's 8 losses for the year, for their 3-year career. Number 8, Olivia Eaton. Number 24, Kylie Hurley. And number 4, Carly Bradford.
Congratulations to a great coach. Thank you very much. And is this for you all too? Y'all all tournament team, state, and those students as well.
Those 3 made all
Yeah.
tournament.
That's incredible. So, yeah, a lot to be proud of, right? And that's what you just said a little ago. 100 wins, 8 losses for you young ladies. So very proud of you. Congratulations again, and you have a lot to be proud of. Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Y'all have a great evening. Thank you. Thank you again for coming tonight and being represented. All right, one more. Holston Middle Cross Country.
Yeah.
Let's have those kids come up here. Do I have those students here? Come on up. Come on up.
Dr.
Here.
Fields?
Dr. Fields as well. So here's our player roster. Do I have Miss Walling?
Yes, sir.
Hi, Miss Walling. How are you?
Good, how are you? Thank you.
I wish I could flip this around. I'm going to go through your accomplishments real quick, and then I want you to read it, your offer to us as well. So, Sullivan County Cross Country Champions, TMSAA Upper East Sectional Champions, and the TMSAA Class A runner-up. So that's great. Congratulations. Congratulations. I want to go back. I want you to announce your kids for us so we can brag on them a little bit.
Yeah, we have a few missing due to ball games,
Oh,
but
gosh.
we have Sarah Bird, 6th grader. Jaden Carroll is also a 6th grader that couldn't be with us tonight. Courtney Good, 7th grader. Maggie Fleming, 8th grader at basketball game. Josie Pugh, 7th grader. Cassidy Starr, 8th grader, and Fallon Taylor is 7th grader.
Congratulations to all of you. Great job.
Again, I'd like to present to you this certificate of recognition to certify that we're proud of you, the Holston Middle School 2019 Girls Cross Country Team, signed by myself and Mr. Hughes. Congratulations.
Thank you. One more round of applause. We get to do the more fun stuff. You want to do this now, Dr. Carl? Sure. All right, great. So Sullivan County Reward Schools. I'm gonna. Yeah, you're good. Yeah, come on. All right. We'd like to honor our reward schools this year, and simply put, you become a reward school when you're one of the best schools in the state. It's just too much to go into to explain all the incredible things that have to happen to be a reward school. We're extremely proud of these schools and their students and the leadership. And so we have several banners that are provided to us by the state to recognize our outstanding schools. And so we're going to do that tonight. We're going to give them the banner that's been provided to them. And our first school we're going to recognize as a 2019 reward school is Central Heights Elementary. If our principal will please come up and be recognized.
It's exciting, Dr.
You have to have that hung up in a place of distinction where everyone can see.
Let's turn around so the board can see.
Sure.
So they're all the same, but this is Central Heights. All right, I'll fold this back for you. Maybe not as neatly as it was, but there you go. And I know you have a special place for this in your school. Thank you. Go Mustangs.
Our next school that we're going to recognize and award a banner to as well is Holston Elementary School. That's the wrong one.
Okay.
We gotta fix that.
We have Tim Holmes.
Here we go.
Well, Dr. Field, did you change it?
We did. I bet that was all him.
Okay.
Here,
There you
go.
go.
Yes, get lots of pictures, please.
Congratulations.
Our next school, Holston Middle School. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Congratulations.
Isn't it great to have so many schools? It's so cool. All right. Next school, Ketron Elementary School. Our next school is Miller Perry Elementary School. Here you are, sir.
Congratulations.
Our next school is Rock Springs Elementary School. Our last school that we're recognizing tonight is Sullivan South High School. And I know that this is not in the slideshow, but I believe there are a couple, and I'm looking at, I was just in a text that said, hey, did you know that Sullivan South, I think it was, two-time winners, correct? Second consecutive years, and is Miller Perry, second consecutive year. So congratulations again to those two schools. Thank you. Appreciate it.
And then the final item under director's comment is just that on January 6th is the day that we'll be returning back from our Christmas break. That will be a work day for the staff at Sullivan East Middle School, and so it'll be a no student day, and that's only for Sullivan East. And so, Mr. Chairman, with that concludes the director's comment portion of the agenda.
Thank you. We'll just review the dates we talked about upstairs. December the 5th, 5 o'clock will be the workshop, 6:30 the regular meeting. December the 2nd, we're going to schedule a retreat. We'll talk about the location. We talked about the delegates for Saturday. We'd also like to mention that Colonial Heights will be having Veterans Day celebration in the morning. They have the lone survivor from USS Indianapolis that'll be there, Mr. Smith, who is 95 years old. So we're going to try to turn out for that. Anyone that would like to go would be welcome to do so.
What time is that?
7:30 a.m. That's all I have, Dr. Cox. I'll turn the meeting back over to you. Thank you.
South High School, so
That's been changed, that Monday.
oh, really?
Ms. Thomas mentioned South High School celebration. That's been changed to Monday at 1 o'clock. Monday at 1 o'clock. Thank you.
So, we don't have any unfinished business. We did talk about that in the work session, no required action by the board. But under new business, we do have 3 policies that are recommended by the policy committee for the board's consideration on first reading. And I don't believe that requires a vote. Okay, all right. And then under new business, we do have 2 action items, the first of which is the establishment of bank accounts at Sullivan East Middle School. I'm going to ask Mrs. Deloach to answer any questions that the board may have. We do respectfully recommend the action this evening. Any questions?
Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Thomas. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Iverson. Discussion? Hearing none?
Mr. Iverson?
Yes.
Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Robinson?
Yes.
Mr. Spivey?
Yes.
Ms. Thomas?
Yes.
Mr. Gilmore?
Yes.
Mr. Hughes?
Yes.
And then the final item under new business is the item that was added with the approval of the agenda, and that is to authorize the executive committee of the board to execute 5 contracts with BTE for electrical services at Sullivan East Middle School.
You have the recommendation. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Thomas. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Jones. Discussion on the motion. Hearing none?
Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Robinson?
Yes.
Mr. Spivey?
Yes.
Ms. Thomas?
Yes.
Mr. Gilmore?
Yes.
Mr. Hughes?
Yes.
Mr. Iverson?
Yes.
That concludes the new business.
Okay, that brings us to public comment for non-agenda items. I have 3 requests. I'm going to kind of separate them by topic. I believe the first speaker's name, and if I get it wrong, I'm having a hard time reading. I think it's Dale Walker. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
As you approach podium, please state your name and your correct address for the record. Limit yourself. We give you about 3 minutes, and give or take, and I'll start giving you this to wrap up.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My name is Pastor Dale Walker. I'm president of the Tennessee Pastors Network. I'm here speaking on behalf of Pastor Bart Fowler, his church here. I do reside, though, in Sparta, Tennessee. Pastor Fowler couldn't be here, so I'm speaking as a spokesman on behalf of the issue that has come up. Some of y'all have seen the flyer with the Pinkoski situation with the flyer. Folks, put yourself in these shoes for a moment. Your 7-year-old child comes home from school asking about condoms, birth controls, pills, and IUDs. You are astounded and ask your child where he learned about such things. Now, it's one thing to have "In God We Trust" on our walls, but should we not respect the parents that trust in God, that believe in biblical doctrines, that this could be offensive to them? Your child then hands you a flyer that was given to them at school to bring home. You read the flyer and learn that your child's Tennessee public school has allowed and supported an outside group to advertise and promote an event that includes these non-appropriate subject matters, sexual in nature, to these students. Then imagine being the parent that has now been forced, at no fault of their own or their child, to have to deal and discuss an adult subject now at 7 years old, thanks to the Tennessee school system. Our question is tonight, where is the accountability of this school? Where is the accountability of this teacher? Where is the accountability of this principal and the Sullivan County Director of Schools, the Tennessee Department of Ed, the Education Commissioner Schwinn? Where are the checks and balances that were obviously not in place or were totally ignored? Do we have renegade schools or renegade leadership or both? So can anyone, any subject matter, filter into our schools via a flyer to students? I'm sure if Reverend Pinkoski wanted to give out Christian literature, that material would have likely been stopped. So this big question, does Sullivan County Schools, Tennessee Department of Ed, Commissioner Penny Schwinn, allow anyone to enter our schools in the state of Tennessee and advertise and showcase what they want to our students, especially to our young and most vulnerable? Where are the checks and the balances? What are your procedures to block inappropriate subject matter to parents? Since when does our education system pick and choose what our students are exposed to without notifications to their parents first? And as we look at this tonight, I'm confident that there are other parents that were probably concerned about this that maybe couldn't have been here tonight, as the Pinkoski family has been here. But I believe that we need to educate principals, teachers, you board members, what Christian families out there desire to have for their children. And this is inappropriate all the way to the commissioner of our education, who may not understand the values that we have in Tennessee because she came here from another state. Maybe she needs to be educated about the biblical values that some Christian families hold in this state. And I'm confident that Governor Lee will be concerned about this, as Reverend Pinkoski has reached out to him as he run on Christian values. And this garbage in this flyer is anything but Christian values, and Christian families have a right to be upset about it. Thank you for letting me speak.
Thank you so much. Next speaker I have tonight is Richard Pinkoski. Are you here, son? Please state your name and your address, and keep your remarks to around 3 minutes. I'll give you the sum it up signal when you get close. Thank you very much.
My name is Richard Pinkoski. My address is 105 Jamestown Drive in Piney Flats, Tennessee. My son attends Mary Hughes Elementary School, which is in Piney Flats. And on Friday, November 1st, my 7-year-old son came home with a flyer which advertised birth control methods, specifically condoms, IUDs, pills, and more. This is the flyer right here. Looking at this flyer, the first thing I jump at is, what is more exactly, and why is this given to a 7-year-old? Since when is it the school's job to give information to my child about birth control? When did the public schools decide they could teach my child issues regarding morality and sex? Now, I know the liberals on this council specifically will say something like, schools teach reproduction. And you're right. And you're right. They do teach biological facts in regards to reproduction. But this flyer is not talking about reproduction as biological fact. It teaches birth control. And I also can't help but notice that abstinence is not on this list. I've heard it said the principal of the school was just trying to be nice and give us some information about a free clinic. The problem, of course, is that is not the facts. The facts are that this is the free clinic. I wouldn't have had an issue with this part, but the fact is he put the two pieces together to give my child this part. Okay? My son received this flyer printed front and back. Why did the principal not just photocopy? Now, I don't have a fancy printer at home, but I was able to take that thing and just make one-sided copy myself from my home computer. Why couldn't he do that? As a Christian and as a father, I teach my children to respect themselves and to respect their bodies and to abstain from sexual activity until marriage. Since God is the creator of marriage, he ordained marriage as a sacred union between one man and one woman. Amen. The Bible also calls fornication a sin. And that is what I teach my children. Amen. The public schools, and more specific, think they have the right to usurp my authority as their father. By giving my 7-year-old son this flyer, the school almost forced me to talk about sex and sexuality with my 7-year-old son. This school does not have that right. It is my job as his father to teach these issues when I feel it's appropriate for him to hear about them. The sexualizing of our youth is a sign of the moral and the societal decay of our culture. Our children are not objects to be used for a liberal ideology or an LGBT agenda. The family in America is under attack, and the public schools are at the forefront of this attack, undermining parents. And this has to be stopped, and we have to stand up to the recruitment and indoctrination of children for this. The Bible tells us in Matthew chapter 18, verse 6, but whoever causes one of these little ones to believe in me to stumble, it would be better for him to have a heavy millstone hung around his neck and be drowned in the depth of the sea. It is not the school's job, again, to teach moral lessons. It is not the school's job to teach our children religion. And that's exactly what we see happening. I stood up at this podium a few months ago in regards to the textbooks that this board was trying to push, that teach Allah and God are the same being. And there were a few members of this board who ignored us who talked about this. But these schools are not qualified to teach religion. And I want to give you just one example real quick on this
Your
subject.
time is up, Mr. Pinkowski. Thank you very much.
Wow. 3 minutes, all you get.
We have a whole lot more to say.
Next speaker is Mr. Grady Gross. Grady brought me 3 pieces of paper, but we don't have copies that he would like for everyone to look at some point. Mr. Gross, state your name.
Grady T. Gross.
Your address.
Tennessee. Passed welcome to Sullivan County. Part of it, because I didn't live on Hollow Road. And met Mr. Hughes the first time I tried to speak down here. And he came to the back and talked to me along with Mr. Hare. I guess you can still remember. As a matter of fact, he came back again tonight and talked me to coming up here. The last, you spent the time down there with Mr. Hare, spent time with me first down there about Crossland Hare at the Troublesome Hollow Road Bridge. And then you came, and I got you to come down there. And the last thing that I think you said to me, after we discussed stuff for about an hour, was that this was only temporary. Just before that, though, you'd said we both agreed we should move that stop sign up the hill about 20 feet or something of it. Do you remember that?
I'm listening. Keep talking.
Okay.
I'm trying to understand.
Anyway, since then, approximately on up that curve there, as it, you can see on that thing there that they did, and they said I was right about it being a road hazard in the middle of the circle, in the semicircle. Anyway, on up there now, there's a new student. I've got the bus stopped. I got the bus stop running on that route finally after somebody how dangerous it was after the sheriff wrote there was a road hazard in that. Am I going to be stopped at 3 minutes?
You're getting close. Go ahead. I'll let you know.
Okay. Anyway, there's a new student moved in now, and the bus will pick it up. The student is approximately a teenager. And it's a very remote area out there, as you well know. And she's got a danger. I don't know whether her parents are home or not, of coming up through there as far as being molested. I talked to the sheriff, and they sent a captain out that's supposed to check it. Anyway, since then, I got it on my mind that the 2 vehicles met in that little, about 30 feet on up there before you got to the mailbox. If 2 cars met at the same time and the student was walking in there, no place for her to go to the ditch, and they're so close, that student might get hurt. And then when it snows, they're going to push that snow over in the ditch. And if she tries to get over there, it's going to be bad. And so I think it something maybe Mr. Ravzowski talked about before, she had to pick up students that are in invalids, and maybe something like it if they don't want to fix the highway. And I've been trying to get them to widen the road, and that would be the best thing to do. But I think something should be done.
Thank you, Mr. Gross. Thank you very much.
I wish all of you would read this paper.
Seeing no further business before this board, we stand adjourned.